On today's podcast, Cody will be going over reactions to Smallfoot and Night School. Disney is planning another live-action remake in Lilo and Stitch. Plus, we're going to be discussing all of the Venom talk that's going on Twitter. Let's get started.
This is Off the Break Podcast, presented by Silver Screen Insider.
Welcome, everyone, to Off the Break Podcast. I'm Cody, and with me today are Kyle and Eric.
Hello.
Hello.
Hey, guys. How's it going?
Good.
Pretty swell.
Yeah, can't complain
Just
here.
nifty.
Nice. So we're getting some industry news is picking up. Some good films are starting to come out. We're kind of getting...
Slowly but surely.
feel-
I'll take anything at this point.
I know. I feel like we're slowly getting out of the doldrums of the fall, of the back-to-school season.
Yeah, getting all that out of the way and now heading
Yeah.
into the actual fall season.
Yep.
Yeah, we've finally got like a big weekend.
Yeah,
To look
big
forward
weekend, two
to.
big releases.
Yeah, I guess that's what I mean. Like two big movies that people are like talking about.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, for different reasons.
Very different reasons.
Well, before we get into all that, let's talk about last weekend. We're a little late to the party on it, but I did go see Night School and Smallfoot over the weekend.
Very nice.
It was fun. Night School, I went and saw at another theater in another town, so I got the whole recliners and the experience.
Ooh, the luxury treatment.
It is so nice. I just wish we
It
had
does.
that
It
here.
does help make the movie. Not that I'm saying it's bad. I
Yeah.
haven't seen it, but it helps make not really the best movies a more enjoyable experience for sure.
Yeah, I feel like you get more value for your money. So you're not. So if the movie wasn't as funny as you were hoping it would be, it was still
Well,
like
that was me with Life of the Party. I was like, okay, this movie sucks, but I'm drinking a milkshake right now. So how mad can I actually be?
That was
Yeah.
the one that you went to for that theater.
Yeah.
Wow, that is very... Well, like you said, though, it made it better, so good on you.
I did. I put my feet up. I had my like pretzel bites that were freshly made. I'm like, oh, this
Nice.
is really nice. People are missing out if they don't get these experiences, and I definitely am one of those people. I could do it every week.
But how was the movie?
Oh,
Detached from
detached from
the experience.
having like a whole theater to myself in the midday matinee. It was good. You know, I think while I saw this while I was gone, I did a girls' weekend away. And so you guys had the podcast to yourselves, which
Yep.
was awesome. And you guys did a good job.
Oh, thanks.
But while I was gone, you know, you guys kind of talked about how you were surprised that it was PG-13, Night School.
No, I just totally thought it was rated R this whole time.
Me
Yeah.
too. So when I was watching it, I was like, this
Seems really tame.
yeah, I was like, okay, when's the good stuff? And then he's like in this chicken suit outside this like holy pastor-led chicken place next to a strip club. I'm like, ooh, there's going to be some strippers. It's going to be really funny. No, nothing like that. It just felt that maybe in trying to attain the PG-13 rating, they cut out all the good scenes of the movie. Like all the
Yeah.
scenes that you thought were going to be there just weren't. Otherwise, the funniest things are pretty much in the trailer.
Yeah.
Seems to be how it goes with these PG-13 kind of mainstream comedies.
Yeah,
It
they're worried
sucks.
about not being able to sell it, so they have to put the best stuff in it.
Yeah.
Which is fair to a degree.
I mean, that's nothing new. That's kind of always how
Right.
it's been, but
Yeah.
it always sucks when it turns out to be so blatantly true.
Yeah.
I just wish it had been rated R. And
Especially for
Yeah.
those...
got more raunchy
I mean,
stuff.
I mean,
Come on, look at the two leads you have.
Yeah.
Mhm.
You gotta let them. You gotta set them free, set them loose.
Let's just say maybe I was lulled into like a marketing strategy because I first got introduced to this movie at CinemaCon back in April, and I had Tiffany Haddish and Kevin Hart come down the aisles while we were at the theater in Vegas.
Oh, I remember you telling us.
And
about
they
this.
had huge bottles of Dom Perignon, and they're like spraying them, and passing around for everybody to.
Things
and
are
I'm
gonna
like,
get crazy
Yeah,
in this
and I'm like-
PG-13 movie.
yeah, I'm like, this is gonna be the best movie. Oh my gosh, I was so
As you're-
excited.
As you're drinking, you're just like,
Yeah.
woo!
And then
Just-
and then so many months later, I go to the movie and I'm like, huh.
What the crap?
Where's my like big bottle of Dom Perignon? I need that.
You just have a water ball.
Would like that a lot
like you're
more
just
now.
Yeah.
Trying to spray a
I
water
get-
That's
bottle.
too bad.
I
I
get
can't
my
say
Coke
I'm.
from the freestyle machine. I put some cherry in it.
I can't say I'm not surprised. Like, I always kind of thought it. Even when I did think it was R, I wasn't very sold on it. But
Yeah.
Yeah, that's fair. So it kind of was just a run in the mill.
Yeah.
Well, it's just it's
Yeah.
another one of those comedies. It came and went,
Right.
whatever.
And then
Yeah, but what about Smallfoot?
Smallfoot? I took my son to. Did a mommy son date. And
Ooh,
that
did
was
it pass
really fun.
the little kid boredom test?
No,
Oh.
it did not, unfortunately. So
Darn.
it's really cute. It's a very cute little movie. I didn't know what to expect for the story, so after watching it, I really liken it to the kind of the story you get with Hotel Transylvania in the first one, where there's monsters. They exist in a world with humans, but they're separate and they're hidden because the humans are the actual monsters because
Right.
they attack them. That kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
But unfortunately, unlike Hotel Transylvania that has really rich characters, you've got like Frankenstein that's being browbeaten by a nagging wife, and you've got like the Wolfman with all of his litter of children that is just sucking the life out of him. And like there are some things in there you can kind of relate to.
That sounds really funny. I still haven't seen it.
But in this one, the characters were pretty bland. They weren't terrible. They were just bland.
Well, I'm sure it doesn't help that they all kind of look the same, don't they?
Yeah, they're very similar.
I mean, I'm sure there's like a bigger one.
Yeah,
and
there's
then
like a bigger one. There's like a more purpley one.
Yeah.
There's like a one with braids.
I'm the purple one.
And then there's
I'm
like
the big one.
a short, annoying
They don't
one.
have names.
Yeah.
I couldn't even
Well-
tell you their names.
Yeah, it just sounds
Except
like it's
for
kind
the
of
main
a bland.
guy, Migos.
It's like a bland kind of children's
Yeah.
movie.
Yeah. But a lot of the little kids in the audience did laugh, but my son definitely got bored halfway through, and then we kind of rallied at the end. But it was a little touch and go.
Yeah, so
So-
another run of the mill.
Yeah, just it was good.
Run-of-the-mill
Nothing
weekend.
that I could
Not
say
every
bad
weekend can
about
be a
it.
success, I
Yeah,
guess.
there's
Yeah.
nothing bad about it. It's just not. It's just bland.
It won't
Yeah.
be memorable.
Mm-mm.
Just
No.
doesn't have quite.
It's not our
The magic
2018
that it
Best
could have
Animated
had.
Feature Oscar winner.
No, I don't think so. I don't think so.
Could still be nominated.
And not all
could.
and not all movies have to be that. It was just nice to be able to go with my son and enjoy something that I knew was going to be wholesome and had a really cute little story.
Yeah.
And just that was nice.
Yeah,
It's beautiful.
So that was kind of my weekend.
that's a fun one.
Yeah,
Yeah. Cool.
Kind of just had the time to yourself, pretty much.
I did. It was really nice.
Awesome. That's
I-
good to hear.
I love mom dates with my son. I know he's only 5, but
I still go on dates with my mom.
it's so wonderful.
It is. What about you, Kyle? Do you like dates with your mom?
Absolutely.
Well, so yeah, we'll see how those kind of hold up. I think it leaves a big room this weekend for Venom and Stars Born to open up.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
know.
agreed.
They're going to take all the money.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Which one will take first, do you guys think?
Oh, it'll definitely be Venom.
Yeah.
Yeah?
I think so.
Yeah, actually, Stars Born is rated R, and I think that limits it, and it's not a light R for just maybe some language. There's some, like,
And sex. And
Yeah.
drugs and rock and roll.
yeah, there's some of that in it.
What a life.
A little harder R.
It does seem like there's a lot of traction for it now, though.
Mm-hmm.
Like, even despite its R rating, like, it seems like everyone's buzzing about it now.
Yes, I think the story was always really good.
Well,
But
it's
I-
worked 4 or 5 times
Yeah.
already.
Yeah.
But I wonder if people are like super excited because they're like, "Oh my gosh, Lady Gaga and
That's a
Bradley
huge
Cooper are
part of it.
actually talented."
Mm-hmm.
Well, I think a huge part of it is Lady Gaga, and it's kind of like a meta role for her that I think is appealing to a lot of like
Uh-huh.
her fans, especially, but just a lot of people. They're like, "Whoa, I never knew that's what Lady Gaga looked like. Is this supposed to be like about her?" I feel like at least that's what I hearing people in the theater would say. They're like, "Wait, is this
Yeah.
about her?" And I'm like, "No, no, it's not." But it's perfect casting.
Yeah.
It is
Um,
because I think she actually has had some issues.
Oh, absolutely.
With her
She has a
career.
whole bunch of
Yeah.
experience you can draw on.
Being told that she needs to change her appearance.
But at the end of the day, Venom's a superhero movie, and it's PG-13.
13.
So
Yeah.
you just can't beat that.
No. Now, in the long run, as like over the next few weeks, I could see Stars Born just slowly picking away at,
Oh, I do.
the
I think
opening
that's
gross
for
of
sure
Venom.
that's going to happen.
Right.
If not the next
Venom
weekend.
Venom may have the bigger job than A Star is Born for sure.
Oh, I
Yeah,
guarantee
'cause I
it will.
guess
It will.
It's Goosebumps the next weekend.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And First Man.
Yeah, that and
Mhm.
Bad
And-
Times at El Royale.
Yeah, and I don't think any of those are enough to. If Star is Born is as good as everybody's saying, that will knock those down.
No, Star is Born's gonna have the staying power. Venom's gonna
Yeah.
come out big, and then from the looks of it, people are gonna be like, maybe this isn't the best,
Right.
and then they'll move on.
I think Star is Born is going to be more general audience, even though it's R, than say like First Man the next week, which looks very upscale and maybe will put off some people.
That makes sense when you put it in those terms.
Maybe.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not sure about that though. I feel like First Man is. I don't know. Nothing about it has screamed too upscale to me. I think it's just another biopic.
Yeah.
And people tend to usually have liked those in the past.
I mean, there's an
Biopics
audience
aren't
for
nearly
them.
as big as they were, but
I think the name Ryan Gosling will help, and I think after La La Land, people know the name Damien Chazelle a little bit more, so I think it will be able to
not
attract
general
a little
people. I
more.
feel like general audiences
No.
will never start recognizing directors' names unless it's like Quentin Tarantino.
Right. I just mean that in terms of the power that La La Land had a few years ago, like once they recognize it's from the same guy, then it might gain a little more attention.
Maybe. I feel like it's just so
I'm just throwing
drastically
that out there.
different from La La Land, though. Like,
True. I mean, it's clearly not a musical,
yeah,
or it could be. I don't know. Maybe maybe they're hiding that and they pulled a switch on us.
Damien does love music, so I wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah, exactly. I don't know. I kind of hope people don't sleep on Bad Times at El Royale. I hope that one has.
Yeah,
some
I'm going to
momentum.
see that. I think it's going to be good.
I just
Oh,
don't think
yeah.
it's going to be wide. They're going
No,
they're going to go
I don't
limited,
think so. Venom and Star is Born, I think, will hold the top two spots. But in the long run, I'm 99.99% sure A Star is Born will end up overtaking Venom.
Yeah, I can agree with that.
yeah.
It's, I don't know, it's destined to have that same fate. A movie comes out and people were never really sold on it, and then just kept hearing more and more mixed to negative things, and then it finally does come out. Its reviews aren't very good. People see it and they kind of just, maybe it becomes a joke or like a meme,
Right.
and then it just kind of
So
fades away.
Venom did have, once their embargo wasn't lifted, it have some early reactions on Twitter that weren't very positive.
Yeah, Tuesday was when those reactions were able to be sent out on Twitter, and they finally were able to have their reviews up today, I believe.
Right.
Yeah, that's another thing. A lot of people, I don't know how true it is, but a lot of times people will say a studio will withhold their actual official review embargo until like the day or two of the movie comes out because they're afraid that it'll hurt the movie.
Yeah.
Sometimes that's true, sometimes it's not,
Mhm.
but this definitely seems like it was definitely a case of that.
Yeah, I would say so for sure. I mean, on Rotten Tomatoes right now, it's sitting at a 32%. The initial tweets about it gave mixed to just plain bad short reviews of what they could say on Twitter. Like, they just did not... I mean, besides the Eddie Brock-Venom relationship, like, they really did not have much else good to say about this movie. And
Well,
then I
even
think
in
it showed a little bit more
in
once
the last
reviews
couple
came
days
out.
there was like a little mini controversy on the Our Movies subreddit where every single article that would be put up about Venom reactions or Venom reviews would be taken down, and then it turns out from two sources that they were being paid by Sony to get rid of that somehow, to get rid of the negative word of mouth. So I think people saw through that, and
Really?
now it's just a bunch of
Yeah.
That is
Sony's
very
just like, no,
interesting.
this movie is great and it needs to be huge.
Well, that's funny, though, because by the sounds of it, it sounds like people are in agreement that it didn't need to be R-rated to begin with. Like, the PG-13 rating is just fine. But it's just the movie itself is just not quite to the level that it could have, to put it in nicer terms.
So they were pulling it from Reddit, the bad reviews.
Yeah, no, the mods or the moderators
Yeah.
of the movie subreddit. Well, they weren't even reviews. They would put up, like that the awkward Tom Hardy interview. I don't know if you guys saw that, where he's like, "What was your favorite part of the movie?" The 30 to 40 minutes that were taken out of the movie, and it got
I heard
kind of
about
awkward
that.
with him and Riz Ahmed.
Yeah.
Riz was obviously like, "Dude, you can't bad talk the movie. It's not even out yet."
And he's
But,
like, I'm Tom
Yeah,
Hardy,
so there were
dude.
things like that went up, but then it got taken down, and then different threads compiling early, like like kind of like the article Kyle wrote, that would be taken down, and then it kind of became an in joke, like, oh, the mods are going to take this one down because it's about Venom, and then one of the mods put a picture out that said that they are in fact being paid by Sony to basically do damage control.
Oh
And again,
my
I don't
gosh.
know, I can't verify that because
Right.
who knows if he's
knows?
actually one of the mods, but it was just like a
Well,
little mini thing.
Yeah.
Another mini controversy was that Lady Gaga fans were creating bot accounts
That
and
is
trolling
so funny.
Venom and being like, "Oh, this is
No,
the
I
worst
read
movie. I'm gonna take my wife to Stars Born instead."
I read some of those. It's like my children and I were super excited to see Venom, but 10 minutes in, it was the worst movie we had ever seen, so we walked out. But luckily, there was a showing of A Star Is Born in the next theater.
Clearly, they don't know that the first screening was only for critics and not for just anyone to
they're
walk
hilarious.
in.
They're hilarious to
Yeah.
read.
Oh, I gotta read those then, 'cause
So artificial sounding.
those are funny.
are.
They have no reason to worry. Lady
No.
Gaga fans, calm down. Venom will have its run in week 1, and then it will have a big drop off. Probably
That's not good enough. This is their
And
Lady Gaga.
They don't just look a little into how the box office works. Like, you'll be okay.
Yeah.
I
Like,
just think it's hilarious. People just
I think it's
pretending to care a lot about the whether or not their movie takes number 1 or 2 at the box. Like, most people
Right.
don't care about the box office. Like, people on the street, you're not.
Yeah,
they
they don't
couldn't
pay
care
attention.
less.
yeah, I mean, unless
To
if
these
you're,
people, it's like a sort of validation thing. Like, if A Star Is Born doesn't take number 1, that means that the Lady Gaga movie wasn't popular enough to take number 1, meaning that Lady Gaga is,
Right.
not as good as Venom.
I mean, only
Right.
super
I don't know.
fans only super fans of movies and the studios care about who takes number 1. Other than that, though, like, no one gives a crap.
Well, I'm super excited to see A Star Is Born.
Oh yeah.
I love Lady Gaga. I'm gonna go see her in December in Vegas at her residency. So
Oh, that's gonna be cool.
Show to remember
excited.
for sure.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that'll be really cool.
yeah,
I do want to see A Star Is Born for sure, but I will be going to see Venom first tomorrow evening, so
Right.
I'll have my review of that up.
right, and I'll go see A Star Is Born. and
Perfect.
then-
Me too.
Yeah,
Perfect, and then we'll just trade off and
we'll see how this goes. Maybe we'll do a double. Maybe I'll do a double feature and see both in one night.
Man, that would be a
long
heck
night.
of a double feature.
7:00 Star Is Born and 9:00 Venom. I could do it.
Probably. I'm sure they would have a late. Yeah, why? You should try that.
I should. Try. I don't have a home life or anything.
No, you don't have kids to take care of or anything.
I don't. Well, they'll be in bed by then, so
Yeah,
they'll be fine.
I'm sure.
Dad'll be there to take care of them.
Yeah. So, yeah, Twitter was all in a huff about everything Venom, apparently, and
No, that opens up a whole other can of worms with it's been going on for a long time now, but the whole concept of like the social embargo lifting, and then people are able to take to Twitter and basically either give it a 5-star praise or like a 0-star, like
with
"This is
only
the worst thing I've ever seen."
140 characters or
It's
whatever it is.
It's I hate it when social embargoes lift. It's
Yeah.
always the same.
Yeah, I mean, I've had to write a couple of these this past year, and I've noticed a trend where people can say as much nice things as they can, and you can pick out like what these nice things mean. Like,
Yeah.
every certain saying has a certain code word to it. Like, oh, it was a fun ride. Usually
was
means
really
it's gonna be
fun.
forgettable in a week.
Yeah.
Stuff like that I've noticed.
Yeah, it's like I guess I didn't get to the point where I had to physically leave the theater while I was watching it.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, there's cases like with Infinity War where the hype for it was real and this and that, but for like
And you
a
don't want
Fallen
spoilers.
Kingdom or a Predator or
Yeah.
even Venom, like there's code words that you can
Oh yeah.
pick out and piece together,
Well, I
and,
don't
and
know.
it's just funny to read
I don't
because
know
you're just like,
how-
I know what's about to happen here.
I don't know how true it is, but I hear from a lot of people, like either in interviews or people who have worked in the industry before, talking about the types of screenings that the people who go on to give these Twitter reactions for are kind of like hand or selectively chosen by the studio based on like
They're definitely invite
look,
only.
they're like, hey, you've reviewed several of our past movies pretty positively. How
Yeah,
about
they
you
are.
come here and give us a good shout out on Twitter?
Yeah, that's
And
what every
it just seems so fake. Like
Yeah.
that's why. But
Yeah,
people
for sure.
take these Twitter things and take them to heart. And I can guarantee you, Venom's not the worst thing ever made, and I can guarantee you, Venom's not like the critics aren't wrong. But if you look at Twitter, it's usually the best thing ever or the worst thing ever. And I just think that contributes to an already pretty
Toxic environment.
yeah.
Yeah, I totally
And you
agree
go to
with you.
IMDb, people, if they like it, they score it 10 stars. If they didn't really love it, they'll give it 1. It's
Yeah,
like,
I mean,
there's no nuance.
it's not a bad thing that they're doing these social reactions before like their actual reviews, but like you just have to take stock into how much is being said or what is being said into a tweet.
Yeah.
Like you almost have to decipher it.
Mm-hmm.
So
Oh,
I
yeah.
figure out exactly what they're saying.
That's why I just don't even bother.
Oh, I don't blame
Because
you.
half the time somebody will put out a tweet being like, okay, Ant-Man and the Wasp is definitely the funniest, best Marvel movie ever. And then that same person's review will be
It's
like,
like it was kind of funny and only
it was
okay.
kind of repetitive and reductive. 5.5.
And you're just like, wait a minute, what did you just say then? Yeah, I saw that quite a bit.
It happens
too.
all the time.
Yeah, but I think the general audience though is like so tuned up to getting just that first like initial reaction. It's like that's
absolutely.
their first foray into deciding if it's worth the money or not.
Definitely.
And so yeah, movies can be made or broken, I think, on this crazy first reaction of these select
Hate
few
it.
people that get invited only to these screenings.
You can hate it, but that's how it works. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Cody really nailed it right there.
I know. And then that feeds into just the general public's like, it's so hard to just it's mainly for like these big franchise movies, but it's so hard to have a discussion.
definitely.
You know, like first thing that comes to mind still is, you know, the whole Last Jedi thing. You can't really talk about it without people saying like, this is the worst, most blah 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 thing ever, and people like, no, you're stupid. Everything you think you know is wrong. Blah blah. It's like, I don't know. It's just they're all symptoms of that extreme toxic binary system.
And people go
Overblown.
off so much more on their emotional response to it rather than that, like, hey, I liked this component of the story. Like,
Critical thinking.
yeah, but I think you're getting I like to hope you're getting a little bit of that with the Venom, is that they're like, oh, the Brock Venom relationship is pretty interesting. And that relationship is the only reason I want to see the film. I kind of want to see like how these two separate characters create the symbiotic relationship. I don't really care about the action.
Yeah,
or
my
biting
personal
people's
take-
heads off or anything.
Where I'm sitting at right now with Venom is I'm more inclined to see it now because if anything, it seems like it's just one of those kind of bizarre, not very good, but there's a lot to either intrigue me or just, you know, there's some good things there, but then there's also a lot of like, even the bad stuff is bad in kind of an interesting way. Like you're scratching your head like, why are they doing this?
I've heard that a bit too.
It's just kind of like,
Yeah.
I just want to see it so I can, you know, see for myself this sort of perplexing take on this anti-hero.
Like if it leaves you in that kind of a mood where you're like, it wasn't great, but what did I watch?
Yeah, I mean, it's
Yeah.
like there are some movies where even if you know it's not supposed to be very good going in, you can go in with a mindset that's sort of like, not let's watch this train wreck, because it's probably not a train wreck, but it's just a sort of, you know, let's laugh at the parts that don't work and then also be able to enjoy the parts that do work.
What do you think people are expecting with this
I don't
movie?
think people know what to expect
And
because
so
Venom
do you
is.
think they're getting disappointed because they didn't really have they didn't know what they were expecting, but it wasn't what they thought?
Well,
I
at
don't know
least
if
in
that
my
makes sense,
experience, I
but-
feel like, yes, I'm sure there were some small Venom comic book storylines that ran for a while,
Mhm.
but I feel like Venom's a
90s,
character
a
that
lot of it in
most
90s.
people, you know, he's a villain in Spider-Man's world. You know,
Yeah.
he's people kind of like Boba Fett. I always feel like people don't really love the character because there's not really a whole character there,
Right.
but they think he looks really cool and does some really cool things.
Yeah.
And
When the
I don't know,
prequels
they just
came
wanna-
out, it ruined Boba Fett. for me.
I think people are
It
just
ruined it for a lot of
Yeah.
people.
I think a lot of people's gut reaction is like, oh, I would love to see a Venom movie, without really thinking like, well,
What would that be?
yeah, not every character needs to have their own movie just because that's an established thing now.
Right.
Yeah.
It's a superhero origin
I
film.
think the only thing that interests me about the character is the idea that like there's a human there with a life and a history and feelings of its own. And it keeps kind of similar to the Hulk, and then that keeps
Yeah.
getting taken over. Whereas the Hulk is like this hero.
Yeah.
This is like definitely a bad guy, and like that kind of is, that part is really interesting to me. Otherwise, I don't know anything else about the character, and I really don't care.
Yeah, I feel like
It feels like it should be a like a secondary supporting character that is getting its own movie, and they don't have any support, like any other interesting support around them.
part of me wonders if Aviavrad, still can't remember his name, the producer, one of the producers of this movie, he was in charge of putting Venom in Spider-Man 3, and everybody hated how that was done.
Via Rod.
Via Rod, okay. And then he's like, okay, I take blame for that. Let's fix it. And I think the thinking, or the line of thinking was, okay, well, people obviously love Venom. He didn't work that time, so let's fix him and give him his own movie, and now it'll work. But again, I just don't think Venom's really a character that'll work for his own movie, let alone a movie without Spider-Man.
I feel like it would work really well if they treated it like what DC is now doing with its Dark Label, is going into like a really creepy, like crazy gritty Venom. I feel like that's kind of what people wanted. It was just this,
I think,
scary monster.
Yeah, purely off the top of my head, I feel like the best route for Venom would be to go incredibly simple, take like your basic, like the Suicide Squad approach, where there's this big bad, maybe it's Carnage or something fan servicey like that, and say we need something just as big and bad and scary to take care of this, but we don't want to get our hands dirty.
Yeah, let's
have Venom. Then that gives you a chance to make Venom an anti-hero, and then the movie is just him wrecking everybody.
Yeah.
Eating people, sucking brains.
And it all be done.
That's all it is.
Yeah, support him.
Yeah, and then that's all it is. It's just, a straightforward, just let's watch Venom tear everything up.
Yeah.
I definitely think hardcore fans of Venom are not going to be happy with this movie, while the casual fans will probably see that it's not great, or maybe they'll think that it's not great, but they'll at least find some enjoyment with.
Yeah. Oh, I think hardcore fans are going to hate
that are going to happen. It. Yeah, for sure. And I don't blame them, because it sounds like it's not really quite the character of Venom that they're going with in this movie as compared to like previous incarnations in the comics.
Well, that's also, based on these trailers too, I feel like they just don't really understand Venom as a character. And that might be a problem with the character itself. I feel like Venom is sort of just one of those characters where the idea of him is cool because he's sort of like a bigger, meaner Spider-Man, I guess. But
that's a simplified version of it, yeah.
I kind of think he reminds me of one of those like creatures out of Mortal Kombat. Like one of the guys that
I see what you mean.
Get over here, or it's like a whole kind of character in of itself, but it's just really there in the background. Like,
yeah,
he's awesome to come in and have his one scene or a couple scenes, but he's not the main character.
Yeah, all of the best appearances in Venom have been like, there's an old Spider-Man game, like the Nintendo 64 and stuff, and there's a part where you're forced to team up with Venom, and it works great there because he's just like a bloodthirsty kind of almost mindless, alien demon sort of thing. But as the main character, I don't know.
Maybe that's why I'm like intrigued by the human component of it, like this idea that he's a human there. But I'm also kind of bored with that because it's also
I would be happy
Hulk
if there was no Eddie
line,
Brock.
And I'm
or maybe if we see Eddie Brock, but he's already with a Venom.
Yeah,
like it's just new to it's nothing new to him. He's just like. Yeah, this is my life.
This is my life now, and I'm adjusting.
I just think it's a fascinating example of just how many different things can contribute to, a movie's negative reception before it even comes out.
Right. Yeah.
And then once that damage is done, and then it does come out, and it is actually not very good, then it just kind of seals the fate.
Yeah, we'll still have to wait and see tomorrow because there's still so many people that haven't seen it, but I'll let you guys know if everything that we just said is true.
Right. No, it just shows that in our industry, storytelling really matters. Like, you can have special effects and you can have franchises and intellectual property and IP and branding, but at the end of the day, if there's not a really good story, it all falls apart as this false facade, and it leaves people feeling empty and they don't want to come back.
I can guarantee you that most of the films that I gave a negative review on lacked in story.
Yeah.
Is there a major complaint?
Oh yeah, I mean that is what she was saying. Like no matter how much you can put into one component, like you still have to remember, like, there's a story being told, and that should be the driven attention. And I guarantee you, like, if I look back on some of the reviews I've done, like, the number one problem is probably its story.
Yeah,
it's
for
writing.
sure.
I don't think we're sitting here saying that Venom's going to be a bad movie. I think we're just worried that it lacks a good story.
Right, and yeah, for sure.
Yeah,
Just
obviously we
kinda
haven't
clarify that.
seen it yet.
And that
Yeah.
we should wait and
I'm
see.
just trying
on
to
too.
compile
but you're
all
just
of the
right.
similarities
Yeah.
between the things that people
'Cause I
have
think-
seen it.
Yeah, but you're just
Are
right in that
mentioned.
being so important.
Right, because you can see that the visual effects and how like the blackness kind of starts to creep over his face, and
I feel like nobody cares about that anymore.
I'm so like it gives me
Cool
chills.
visual effects and everything
Yeah.
is just a given anymore. I feel like people are
Right.
never gonna. People don't even go like, yeah, but the visual effects were really cool, at least, because every movie has amazing visual effects now.
That's true. It might
Obviously,
be
that's not.
diluted, but I feel like for the overall quality of the film, especially as we talk about films and then there's their streaming components, what's going to set big movies apart still are going to be special effects. I'm still going to want to go because I want to see that really neat CG like come over his face and
It's
have
super
it
neat.
super neat to me.
Venom's so neat.
But
No, I totally understand
What a
what you're
neat
saying.
guy.
I just feel like a movie with a really strong story whose special effects are maybe lacking is almost always going to turn out better
Probably.
than a movie whose story is lacking, but it had really cool special effects. Ideally, you would have both all the
Yeah.
time, but
yeah. I just want to come up with some positive things because I want Venom to do really well. I want there to be excitement. It's tracking really high. I think there's overall general interest because you have a character that maybe a lot of people aren't familiar with and they're ready for something. Because the last few comic book superhero type movies have all been very familiar characters, except for Black Panther, I would say. But you had Avengers and you had Ant-Man
these
and you had
characters that everybody knows at this point.
Yep.
Yeah.
But this one is like so new, and I think the
Well, I also-
interest is really there for
I also
it.
think that the whole concept of really pushing that anti-hero element is working, even though that's also not really anything new. I'm sure you could argue that the Christopher Nolan Batman movies, he was more of an anti-hero, but the whole marketing campaign of like the world has enough superheroes, and on top of that, people who aren't really into Spider-Man
Forgot
probably
about
don't
that.
really know Venom that well. They probably look at him like, whoa, that guy looks kind of scary.
Every time you say Venom, I think about Topher Grace. And
Yeah.
that's
I mean,
Spider-Man. That's like my
For some
only...
people, that's all they know.
Yeah,
they're
that's
like
my
Venom. Oh
only
wait, he was
experience
that
with
guy
it.
Which
in
that's a
Spider-Man
shame.
3, right?
That is a real shame.
I know.
It's like no,
I'm trying to like
that's not bad.
bury that image deep down and just think of Tom Hardy.
As someone who hasn't been excited or ever
just-
thought that a Venom movie was needed, like I would say like bury that thought of Spider-Man 3 and go in.
I will
with that.
sort of defend Spider-Man 3. It's not a great movie, but there's a lot of individual pieces for me to like.
I wouldn't say it's a total
But Venom is
train
not
wreck,
one
like,
of them, but Topher Grace is one of them. I love the fact that he plays at that Eddie Brock would think that a reasonable idea is to pray to Jesus to kill Peter Parker. Like, I want you to kill Peter Parker. He's like actually tearing up as he's like desperately
That sounds
praying.
like an Eric Foreman thing to do. Like if he
Yeah.
still played that character on that '70s show. Like,
See, that's the kind of vibe I'm talking about that I'm gonna be going into this Venom with. Just sort of like just absurdly
Bury it.
curious.
Bury it.
like,
Bury it.
like I love.
Don't let that taint you.
No, it doesn't. I love the
Okay,
Topher
good.
Grace Venom.
Good.
He's terrible, but I love it. It's like, why would you cast Topher Grace
That
as
may be the reaction you'll
Brock?
get out of Venom. Because
Yeah,
I
think that'll probably have an enjoyable time.
Yeah.
One of those things where I can recognize it's not a masterpiece of cinema,
Mm-hmm.
but it's probably going to be an entertaining piece of cinema.
Yeah.
Even if it's not always in the ways that the filmmakers intended.
Yeah.
I'm purposely not looking up anything or reading reviews because I don't know anything about Venom other than he is like an alien symbiote that takes over this body and that he's evil and he wants to like eat people. So I'm like, okay, entertain me. Show me what a Venom is in this.
Show me a Venom.
Show me a Venom and make it good. Sony.
I wonder if he'll save a baby. I think Venom saves a baby in one of his individual storylines. He goes to San Francisco and basically becomes like the Spider-Man of San Francisco. And there's a comic book cover where he's like pulling a baby up with his
I
webs.
mean,
Like
there's iterations where he's like an agent of Shield, so it's not that wouldn't be too
Yeah.
far fetched if he's saving babies.
Oh my gosh, you should totally say babies in this.
probably will.
That'd be
Like with his
awesome.
giant teeth, he's like Gucci, Gucci, like he's just
Yeah.
like babysitting.
But his saliva drips on the baby.
Yeah,
Not to eat, just to. It's just 'cause he's
It's-
gross.
yeah, it's just gross.
The last thing I will say about Venom though is I'm really curious to see if they went back through and redubbed. What's her name?
Oh, Jenny Slate.
Jenny Slate.
I
Yeah,
know where you're going with this.
redubbed Jenny Slate saying symbiote.
I heard they
Since-
don't.
That really?
Yeah, I'm pretty
because
sure
I know
that they keep it.
Riz's character, he says symbiote, but that
Yeah.
was like the first thing that people started hating on this movie for was
If
like,
I-
did they seriously just say symbiote?
Well, if with a small detail like that, it becomes
oh, that's absolutely the kind of detail that fans are gonna just
Yeah,
dogpile
it's-
on.
It feels
Yeah.
like it's like nails on a chalkboard when you say it like that.
Oh, it does absolutely.
Symbiote.
And then there was a comic issue a couple like the week after that trailer dropped, kind of poking fun at how they pronounced that in the trailer. But
that's just genius.
yeah,
That's just genius on the comics part.
I think it's just gonna make people hate Jenny Slate's character.
Well, sure. I mean, I don't know.
But
what
I can't
character
understand.
it
It's
is,
like
but-
little things like that. It's like if you knew anything about Venom, at some point you would have had to know that he's the symbiote.
But,
That's like the most
But there
common
was,
thing
there
about
had to
Venom.
have been a moment where you were like, "Is it symbiote?" And you just questioned all of reality. Because I know for me,
I was
like,
pretty confident. I was like, why the hell
Yeah.
is she saying symbiote?
yeah.
This is not my Venom.
I just had a one moment, like many other people, I'm sure that they were like, "Is
Don't
it
doubt
could
yourself.
be," but
Don't doubt
I'm-
yourself.
I'm pretty sure now it's symbiote.
This PG-13 Venom doesn't know Venom more than you do.
Apparently,
Anywho, that's
after the
That's
burn
probably enough
that
about
Eric
Venom.
just gave me.
no.
Well,
I'm not burning you. I'm just saying,
do
believe in
you-
yourself.
yeah.
Do you guys think that? Again, I haven't read anything on it, and I don't want to know any reactions. But do you think *Star is Born* is going to live up to the hype, or do you think it's being
I think so.
overhyped?
If you
by
temper
a-
it.
Yeah, like do you think it's being overhyped by?
It's
a-
never the
a
movie's
film
fault
festival
when it's
crowd?
overhyped. I feel like that's a thing that a lot of people, for some reason, try to place on the movie.
Yeah.
It's like it's not the movie's fault at all that it's getting all of this positive buzz and that other people are drumming it up, because that's kind of the nature of the game. You have to hyperbolize so that you can, maximize the chances people are going to actually go see this based on your word of mouth. And yeah, I'm confident that the movie is going to be great. I think it's an incredibly universal story that people from all different demographics are going to find something to enjoy.
I liked when I went and saw Night School over the weekend. They had an early teaser trailer still of *Star is Born*. It wasn't
Oh, yeah. Was it like a featurette kind of thing?
No, it was just it was basically, I think, a teaser, but it was the long drawn out scene where Bradley Cooper's character is passed out on the side of the road in the bushes,
Oh.
and Dave Chappelle's character is like, "Hey man, get up, get
Oh,
up!"
yeah.
And it's
Oh, I've seen
just a
that
little
one.
extended version of that.
Yeah, I haven't seen any of those features. I've only seen the trailer.
Yeah,
I haven't even seen the whole
they did
music
that
video.
as-
Yeah, I would stick with that.
as the trailer, and then it didn't have Lady Gaga come in and sing like
Yeah.
it did in previous trailers. It was just kind of an extended scene like that, and just the tone and the way way it was acted, I was like, "Ooh, this is looking like so good." And I didn't even get to Lady Gaga yet.
No, I just think there's a lot of moving parts that are working in that movie's favor, and you're never going to be able to avoid it coming out. And some people are like, "This is the most overrated movie," because it's going to be in the Oscar race, and I imagine
Right.
people kind of turn on it because it's like that's the big one that it's so overrated.
Do you think
blah,
it'll be
blah,
like
blah,
a
blah,
La
blah.
La Land?
Yeah,
Where
so.
it
Oh,
got
that's
a
a good
lot of
comparison.
buzz.
Yeah.
And then people see it and they're like, I don't get it.
I don't
It's
get
like,
it.
okay.
Are you bitter about people saying that about Shape of Water?
No, like I said, you can't avoid it. I used
Yeah.
to be way worse about that. Like, no, it's sort of like your opinions are wrong, that kind of thing. But now it's like, yeah, I know. This happens with every movie that reaches a certain level of publicity or awareness.
I mean, Black Panther has now been called as overrated. It's
Oh,
just
it was
like,
it was
guys.
a week after it came out.
Yeah.
All these Marvel fanboys who are annoyed that critics are saying it's the best Marvel movie. They're like, no, it's not. And then all of a sudden, I don't necessarily think Black Panther is the best movie, is the same thing as Black Panther's the worst Marvel movie ever made. It's the most overrated piece of garbage.
You're just like, that's not what.
It's like, oh my gosh.
No.
Just never mind. That's why I just stand back and try and take pleasure in the absurdity.
Yeah. That's all you can do.
So I do not think, in my view,
Right.
A Star is Born will be overrated, because that's a word I hate.
Well, I think I
But-
equate overrated with being disappointed when you get there. Like, it got so hyped, and then when you get to the experience itself, you're disappointed, and then you get angry and call it overrated.
Yeah.
I just don't want to be disappointed. by it.
My version of overrated, I guess, would be a little bit different. Like, I don't know. Like, maybe Infinity War, I could say, was a little
I
overrated.
thought Infinity War was overrated.
Because, I mean,
I
you
agree
know,
with you.
Monsters.
take it as a movie, and it's like, okay, it's a perfect culmination of what the Marvel movies were doing.
Yeah.
But I watched it twice in the theater, and the second time it was like kind of exhausting. It's like, I know, it's just not.
I felt I couldn't
I don't
connect
know.
to any character.
That's because
I didn't connect to
I don't
any of
know.
them, and my favorite one that I always connect with, Captain America, was just so like dead inside already.
I thought they did a really good job with Thanos, but I feel like people thought they did a lot better of a job with Thanos than they really did.
Mm-hmm. Maybe it was
Little things like that. And even I still like the movie a lot. But if I had to describe something as overrated, it would probably be that one.
I could see that.
Just like, okay, it came and it went and it made a lot of money, but in my mind, it's no different than
Like-
any of the other Marvel
Like,
movies.
you're never gonna watch it again at home.
Maybe if I got the like 4K version, I'd check it out again.
4K fixes everything.
Yeah, I mean, I made the switch pretty recently and I'm loving it.
Yeah. Oh, I'm jealous. That would be cool.
It's mostly HDR, the high dynamic range,
Right.
if I want to be technical.
Ooh. It
4K is
doesn't-
nice.
all
The
of our
4K is nice,
tech
but
savvy
it's
fans out there.
if you're expecting a jump from Blu-ray to 4K to be like a jump from VHS to DVD or
No.
something, it's
Mhm.
not that.
Do you find that HDR is just too smooth motion for you? Like,
HDR is not the smooth motion. Smooth motion is
Right.
like cancer on this earth. I
it is.
swear.
I hate it.
It's the worst thing ever. No, HDR is the best part of 4K.
You don't,
stuff.
but you don't get, like, to me, that higher definition where you like is almost too.
It's not
clear
either
for
the
me.
definition. It's
Yeah.
purely just the color. The range of
Yeah.
colors is a lot more accurate, I guess.
Really?
Yeah.
I feel like it's just, to me, and like the definition is too much, and the
I can understand.
color maybe is too bright. A little bit for me.
Maybe. I mean,
I don't know.
I can
for
understand
some
the
reason,
definition thing. It's like how
Yeah.
many pores on people's skin do you need to see?
Like, do you need to see
But-
the makeup line?
But the color is it's
Yeah.
the best part. It doesn't change the resolution or anything. It just
Yeah.
looks better, like deeper.
Mm-hmm.
You can maybe see that. I just get really leery with it because I, for some reason, like this like foggy veil of like this cinema is there and I'm entering this world, and if
Yeah.
it's like so clear, I'm like, I don't know. I feel too exposed. I don't feel like an observer getting into the story. I feel like somehow I need
Oh, I'm
to
the opposite. Yeah.
really
With the smooth
dissect it.
motion, I could not be more put off. But
Oh, smooth motions. Like,
HDR,
terrible.
like I watched Blade Runner 2049 with that, and it was oh my gosh, best. It
Oh,
was
I
the
thought,
best.
I thought you meant with the swift motion. I was like,
No.
oh, okay.
No, I was
Gotcha.
at my aunt and uncle's, and they've had that on for years, and I've always, yelled at them. And then there was one point where they were both out of the room, and I was like, "Now's my chance." So
Yeah,
I
just
I
switch it.
dove for the remote, but
Mhm.
they have like 4 different remotes for their whole setup, and
Of
I was like,
course.
"God damn it!" I couldn't figure it out by the time they got back in.
So now they're still stuck with it.
They claim that it's better.
Mm.
And it's like, no, you don't like it more.
It's not.
You've never
No.
changed the setting.
Yeah.
I couldn't figure out how to change the setting on
Yes,
my
because
TV.
they bury them
Yeah.
deep in
And
there.
so I've not been able to change it. So I just
awful.
don't watch movies on my TV now. I would rather go to the theater.
That's such a well.
Gets
I
me
mean,
to the theater.
It doesn't help that they
At
have
least
like
that helps.
8
Yeah.
different names for it. There's like smooth motion, motion plus.
Motion. You're
Yeah.
just like, I don't even. What else is there?
It's the worst. But yeah.
Well, I'm super excited to see our early shows this week, and then after those reactions, we are going to be talking over some trailers, and we'll get to some Lilo and Stitch news, I think, on Friday.
Yeah,
I mean,
that's
it's
fine with
Right.
me.
they're making Lilo and Stitch live action.
Yay.
That's the story.
More on that Friday.
Well,
Or-
I've got to gather my thoughts on that.
Yeah.
I was all aboard about Beauty and the Beast. Like, I'm like, yeah, my favorite one. That's gonna be awesome. And then Mulan, I'm like, oh, my
Well, there's
second
also-
favorite one. Yay.
If you think about it, those have really cool settings and stuff that you
Yeah.
could go crazy with like production design and set
Uh-huh.
design and stuff. But Lilo and Stitch, it's like just like in a normal house in Hawaii.
maybe some of the alien scenes.
I just
yeah,
think
yeah.
if
I guess
you were
though,
gonna go live action with that, why didn't you just do Moana?
Moana was like 4 years ago.
I know, but Moana's got way better songs and it's all about the family. And you could just have The Rock be Maui.
Is Moana's soundtrack? But well, yeah, okay.
Moana's
I guess-
soundtrack's so much better.
Yeah,
It's pretty good.
I mean the
It's beautiful.
That was
mean,
a
we'll talk-
Hamilton
we'll-
guy, right?
Yeah, it was.
What was it?
Lin Miranda something?
Yeah, yeah.
Something Miranda.
the
Well,
Hamilton guy.
Miranda.
Hamilton.
Hamilton.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, we can get into more of that on Friday.
I'm gonna digest it a little. I
Yeah.
just wonder if there could have been a better one. Now, we're gonna do Lady and the Tramp, but I think that's going to their streaming.
That-
so
Yeah, we don't know if
is
Lilo
this
and Stitch
one
is going to the
It's
streaming
unknown
or
right now.
theatrical. It was just
kind
announced.
of announced.
Yeah.
Mhm.
My vote is for Moana.
I'm wondering how they're choosing the movies, the order of which to make the live action versions. Because I wouldn't have assumed
There's a
Lilo and
spinning
Stitch.
dartboard of
Right.
all the
that's,
names.
That's got to be what it is.
And then Mr. Bob Iger throws a dart at it and see what lands.
Get to work.
Yep.
Minions.
All right, we're gonna make a Gray Mouse Detective live action, but that'd be a good one actually. We'll make
Forgot
that live
about
action.
that
Get
one.
to it. Yeah, that's how it's done.
Yeah, we'll give that a couple more days to develop, and then
Yeah.
maybe we'll have something more to say.
I can't think of any other ones that I'd want like right away before Lilo.
Mm.
Lilo and Stitch is good. It's just
I'm trying to think of movies
I
that
really
aren't
want
from the Disney
Moana.
Renaissance, because I feel like that's what a lot of people mostly think of when they think of
Well,
Disney
Lilo and
movies.
Stitch is definitely not in the Renaissance.
No, I mean it wasn't too far after, but
It was
yeah,
in
it's in the
it was in the Dark Ages, man.
it was in the I forget what the post 2000s era is called. It's like the
The Dark Ages.
like new Disney. No, Silver Age was their dark age. It's true.
Do you remember some of the ones in that era?
No, I know,
the
but like
era that
legit,
we-
like they have like legitimate like names for the eras.
yeah.
Oh
And
yeah,
the
for
post
sure,
2000s
for
I
sure.
think is called New Disney.
I think the ones in the 2000s was the worst era.
I don't
Really?
know.
We can talk about this more on
Yeah,
Friday,
that sounds
honestly.
like a good
'cause
topic.
I think this. I don't know.
If you, trust me, you look at the list and
Emperor's
you'll be
New
like,
Groove
"Ooh."
is one of the best Disney movies ever made.
Oh, that's no denying.
That's in there. But no, there's a lot of ones that are you may kind of remember being cool, like Atlantis. But if you actually rewatch, it's not the best. There's some cool, funny, memorable characters, but
Hercules.
that was Disney Renaissance.
I would say
Okay.
that.
But that's also not really considered one of the best Disney movies.
which
No.
is weird. Should be in the conversation.
That's got really good music in it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I do-
definitely.
I think I like the music more in Hades' character than the other.
Yeah. No, people's problems with that are a lot more.
Dumb.
No, I mean they're more complicated. It's hard to summarize now, but
Okay, we'll leave that open ended.
Yeah, no, I guess we can come back to Disney. I'm always down to talk
I feel
about
like
Disney.
we're gonna have some more thought on this.
Yeah.
Yeah,
At
at first I was like, yeah, it's Lilo and Stitch, and now I'm just like, oh my goodness, which ones do this? What's happening?
Yeah.
No, I took a couple different classes completely dedicated to Disney, so I feel like I'm
Well, that is
pretty certified to
Well,
to talk about this.
Did you
I
take a
am jealous.
Paramount or Warner Brothers?
No, I mean
One of the
like
old
Disney
studios?
Studio, like
Oh,
about the man himself and the studio and the synergy between the two.
ooh.
cool.
And we talked about its dark period, which was the Silver Era.
Okay.
Is that when they went actually darker in tone with some
Well,
of their stuff?
Walt Disney wasn't at the same position he was. They got what's his name, Andrew something.
Mm-hmm.
But that was just the point where they would reuse a lot of animation from old movies and just
Yeah.
slap different colors on it. The movies were a lot cheaper, and it looked, you could tell.
One that comes to mind is Robin Hood.
Robin Hood recycles
Yeah.
Jungle Book animations.
Yes, it does.
Yeah.
That's what it was.
Well, yeah, a lot of those movies did that kind of stuff.
Yeah, and you're right. It was because it was cheaper.
Mm-hmm. But some of them, like Sleeping Beauty, is arguably one of the most stylized Disney movies ever, and I think
Oh, for sure.
that's a great movie.
Yeah, but totally agree.
I don't like any of them. Maybe Robin Hood.
What?
Maybe Sword in the Stone.
Sword in
Okay.
We are gonna have a conversation about
I
this.
was
80s was a
not-
weird period.
I think the 80s is when you were saying
Like
the dark
Oliver and
period,
Company.
That's the when I was thinking it was.
Yeah, there was a lot of not the biggest ones. And then 89 is what started off the Renaissance with Little Mermaid. But yeah, I think the 80s, early and mid 80s was kind of the bad part.
Yeah, that I agree with.
But even then,
Wait, no.
Even
what
then,
did I
there's
say?
lots of movies.
No, I
from
don't agree with that.
each era. To
Maybe I
enjoy.
do.
What?
I don't know what I'm talking about. I totally. Sorry.
I don't want to stop talking about this, but we should save it for Friday.
We
So
all
there's
have
your
such
tease, guys.
different opinions on it. So
Yeah.
funny. And such different experiences.
Mhm.
Oh yeah.
I'm like,
Last thing I'll say, my most watched Disney movie is probably Hercules.
Lion King.
I hate Lion King.
What?
I hate it. I don't
hate
even
Lion
want
King?
my boys to watch
It's
it.
not my favorite,
They
but I
need
definitely
to.
don't hate it.
I just don't.
It's just Hamlet.
I just never liked it.
You don't want to expose your sons to Hamlet?
No. No, I
Well,
don't.
when you put it like that,
Yeah.
it doesn't sound as fun.
It'll culture them.
Man, oh god, that
It's
that
not my
literally
favorite,
felt.
though. Not even close.
That was literally a knife to the heart. I am so upset right now.
My most watched.
Lion King is what I would say is an overrated Disney movie.
Oh, geez, that's two knives. That's two knives. Awesome, guys.
Not
I
super
think-
overrated. I still enjoy it, but it's people always like it's the best Disney movie.
Yours is Hercules. Yours is Lion
no, mine
King.
Hercules is not my favorite one. It's my
No,
most watched
Most
one.
watched.
Yeah,
Most
when I was
watched
little, I was
favorite.
obsessed with Hercules.
When I was little, I didn't like Disney, but my most watched was Beauty and the
Are you
Beast.
too cool for Disney?
I thought Disney was for wussies, and I was not a wussy. It's the nice way to put it.
What is that supposed to mean, Cody?
I was super tomboy, and I was like, that is
Yeah.
for girly girls, and I am not a girly girl, and I don't watch
No,
Disney.
I can understand that.
Man, even
and so I
tomboys
have to,
love Disney like that.
Well,
that-
nowadays everybody can admit, like, okay, yeah, Disney's
Yeah, that's
Disney's
fair.
pretty badass.
Yeah, that's fair.
back when we were all children.
Beauty and Beast
at
is a
the
good
same,
one, though.
At the same time,
Yes,
you gotta realize that I wasn't
she was just a lot more advanced and mature
Yeah.
for her age.
Right.
right. Wasn't the same kind of thing. You were all princesses all the time, and I was just not about princesses.
No, that's fair.
The better characters and the stronger characters came later. I had like Sleeping Beauty and Snow White and Little Mermaid. I hate Little
Sleeping
Mermaid.
Beauty is just super cool. I love everything
Just
about Sleeping
these-
Beauty.
Really?
Yeah,
These women that
it's an artsy Disney movie.
Yeah.
Okay, it
Princess.
is artsy. From an animation
Right.
standpoint, you're right. I'll give you that.
yeah. So I didn't connect with them at
That's
all.
flabbergasting.
But then it got
Outrageous.
better, and now I really do like it because
I
I
was
think
just
the
scared by a lot
characters
of
are
them.
so much better.
Mhm.
They're not hollow princessy type
No, for sure. They definitely have been fixed.
where they're
For
dumb
years.
and they're like, oh, I don't know what to do. Oh no, I fell down the hill. No, I need somebody to save me. I
down the hill.
I hated all of that.
No, that's fair. That's just the
Yeah.
changing times. but
Mhm.
Pinocchio's traumatized me.
Yeah, I didn't like
It's the
Pinocchio
scariest
either.
thing I'd ever seen.
True.
Everything about it, the whole movie,
It's
just
so
made me
sad.
feel
It's all so
trapped
sad. And Dumbo.
like I wanted to cry the entire
I
time.
didn't like Dumbo. I thought that was so sad.
Dumbo had the same
Just
effect on me. I like it now though, but it was a creepy.
taken from his mom.
hallucinatory,
the
like,
cry.
movie.
It's just that was too much, even for me as a kid. I'm like, no, that's not right. Somebody stop that.
Watching it now, it's so short. It's like 70 minutes, and it's just like
Oh, really?
flies by.
Did not know that.
Okay, we keep saying we're gonna save this for Friday.
Yeah, we
Okay.
promise we're saving this for
Okay,
Friday.
we'll talk to you guys
We're
on
gonna
Friday.
go. Okay. Bye.
All right, gotta go. Okay, bye.